Hello, my savage gentlemen. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm doing well, kind of. Today is going to be, it's going to be like one of those typical Matt rants where I'm going to talk about a bunch of different stuff, and some stuff that I've been kind of thinking about, and then I'm going to tell you about a weird experience that I had. I told a few of you guys in your check-ins, and then we're going to be a little bit all over the map today. But what else is new, right? Coming to the end of the Savage in Six, man, and it's kind of like it's bittersweet, you know. Uh, I always look forward to the last day. For me, it doesn't necessarily mean less work because as soon as this one's done, I'm prepping meal plans. I'm getting everything ready for the next one. Still, of course, I have lots of clients outside of Savage and Six, and that's still growing. So it's always kind of go, 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 go. But it's bittersweet in the sense that the 6 weeks are done, and I watch a lot of you guys make some really big transformations. And the transformations are not always in the same realm. For like a lot of people, like a lot of people have killed this challenge in the physical sense, and they lost a ton of weight or they put on a ton of muscle. Um, but a lot of people have killed this challenge in the sense that I've watched a really significant like mental change in the way that they perceive fitness and in the way that they perceive themselves and the way it's funny because I really do get personally involved with you guys and I get really involved. I get really involved in your success, right? Like I want to see you guys do well, and we kind of build these relationships. But I think as much as Savage and Six is about like a physical transformation, I won't get too feathery or airy on you guys. It's also about a mental transformation, and I've seen a lot of guys completely change the way that they think about fitness, and I've watched a lot of guys break down blocks and walls in their perception about what they're capable of doing. And for me, like that's probably like sometimes the most exciting part is watching people gain confidence in themselves and their ability to get through Savage and Six without dying because it's a hard challenge. It really really is. So it's lots of you guys have made really really good progress. Um, and then lots of you guys have made really, really good progress just in the way that you think about fitness and the way that you treat the challenge and a lot of those things. And for me, that's just as rewarding. So looking forward to seeing the final check-ins coming up. Check-ins are going to be the same as the one where you checked in. You know what I mean? For this one, guys, I would love to see you guys take two sets of pictures. And one's going to be um, just holding. You've got to hold either the picture of the iPad or the newspaper or something that's dated with the time on it. And I'd love to just see pictures without that as well. So it's you don't have to, but if you guys want to take one with you holding the newspaper or the Google time on your tablet or even your phone or whatever it is, just so that we can prove to anybody because I sometimes guys will transform and then people will not believe the transformations because they're so significant. So I just you've got to make sure that you have that final picture, right? Check-ins will be the same process for that. Otherwise, just make sure you take the pictures with the timestamp to qualify you guys for the prize, and then usually for the last day, it's like making the decision on the winners is always kind of one thing that Senya and I struggle with. So we'll probably employ a little bit of help from the general public, and we'll kind of tie it all in like that because it's just if I had it my way, you guys would all win. So anyway, that's that. I want to talk about a few different things. I want to talk about something which is a little bit personal, and maybe I shouldn't talk about this, but I'm going to anyway because I did yesterday on Instagram, and if I can talk about it with Instagram, I can talk about it with you guys. So we had this amazing vacation with my mother. She only comes down for short periods of time because much like ourselves, she's just a super super busy woman. Um, and she's kind of like an HR consultant at a high level and does like career coaching and she's held some pretty good positions over the years, but she comes down for a little bit at a time. So we took off, as you guys know, went to Puerto Vallejo, went to Arenal volcano, and then came home. And when we came home, I found out that my house had been broken into when we were gone, and somebody smeared shit all over our toilet. And of course, my mother's there, and we're looking at the toilet, and there's shit smeared everywhere. You know, and I have a pretty good indication of who it is. I know I almost know who it is. Um, but and when I first got in, I was furious. I was pissed off that somebody would violate my space like that and come in here. Nothing was stolen. Nothing was removed. And it all really it stems, in my personal opinion, from jealousy and from resentment. And as I always kind of talk about, the people who do those kind of things are typically the people who are pissed off at their own life. And for somebody to come in and smear shit on a toilet, like that's fucking, excuse my language, but that's disgusting. Like you're a fucked up individual. And I'm sorry, I'm venting a little bit here, but I got upset at first, and I was really really angry. Um, and then uh, I I'm gonna roll this into fitness. I'm not just sitting here venting on you guys. Oh, I'm so angry. But anyway, so came in and we cleaned up the shit. And we decided that based on what happened, we're not going to stay in this house anymore. So we're moving to a much bigger place, which has got 2 bedrooms, beautiful view, huge terrace. A little bit more expensive, not too much more expensive, but a little bit more expensive than this place, but well worth it for privacy, security, and just quality of life. Because the condo we have right now is super small. It's the smallest place I've ever been in. It's about 500 square feet, maybe not even, maybe 450, and just a little studio. But it was perfect for us getting here. So time to upgrade a little bit, and that'll be fun. And we reframed it into that opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to upgrade our lifestyle, right? Whoever did what they were doing did it with the intention of upsetting me. And at first it did, and then I reframed it. And the same is true in life and everything else, you know. It's all about perspective, and it applies to fitness. It applies to life in general. You know, if you have, it's not so much about facing challenges. It's not even about failing. It's just about how you take those challenges and how you perceive it. Because ultimately, the way that you perceive it is going to directly influence your reaction to it. You know, if you're disappointed because, you know, you had a bad week or whatever else, you can use that as a learning opportunity. There's different ways to reframe things. I've reframed this to, hey, I'm going to go and get a nicer place, better quality of life, and that kind of thing. But the same is true in fitness, right? It's really all about perception. You know, if there's an exercise that you suck at, I always tell people those are the ones that you should be doing the most of. And what I tend to find is that uh, when you do more of it, you start to love it. And it's those little weaknesses and stuff like that you gotta ultimately work on to increase, to just push yourself and to get past things. But um, bodybuilding and just health and fitness in general is just such a mental game, because you just you know the way that if you fail on a set, or if you're not feeling strong, or if you're not this, there's a lesson in everything, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And if you think about things properly, then you can learn those lessons and evolve from those lessons and become stronger for them or from them, right? And sometimes the lesson is that people are shit, which is just not true of anybody. It's a very small percentage of people, but and sometimes the lesson is, it's a push in the right direction. It's all about the way that you perceive things. It's all about the way that you react to them. And if you're open enough to kind of take an outside perspective, then ultimately you're going to be open enough to make good decisions to be able to propel you away from that, because life tends to throw you things just to see how you react and push you in certain directions. In my opinion, I'm a little bit of a fatalist like that, and I think that that's true. So that was my experience coming home yesterday. It's been crazy. We're in the process of moving right now. We were planning on moving at the end of next month, but I called up the landlord and I said, hey, is the place available now? We'll take it. So it's good. Life is good. We're moving. But I guess what I'm trying to say is if you have a failure, if you have a bad week, if you have, if you're having difficulties, if you're not sleeping properly, if you're not happy with the way that you're progressing, there's always ways that you can. Life is kind of like a game, and there's always ways that you can uh, use those lessons to propel you to do bigger things, and to be able to push yourself. The more time you spend in your comfort zone, outside of your comfort zone, and I think that's as true in fitness as the rest of your life. the stronger you become and the more adaptive you become, and ultimately the better you become. So anyway, there's a little bit of a, maybe that was a rant, and maybe that was a little bit of degassing, but that's what it's all about. We're friends now. We're all a big family. So anyway, once again, I digress. I want to talk to you about a few different things. I told you guys that I took a diet break when I left. So I came back. I was going to do a 24-hour fast. I'm going to do one this week at some point, but I cut my carbohydrates for the last 2 days. So woke up super early this morning. Not only did I cut my carbohydrates, but I went and I did my workouts and my cardio fasted, which means, of course, without food, so that I could burn off all the excess glycogen. I was planning on doing a fast. I was going to do it prior to doing the carb cut, but what I found is that even with the 2 days of cutting carbs, I'm probably even better than I was when I left in terms of physical shape. So if you if you have a bad day, there's a couple of techniques that you can use. One of those, which of course is fasting, provided that you talk to a doctor and that you don't have blood sugar issues. I tend to do, as I said, I've talked to you guys before, I tend to do like 18 to 24-hour fast, usually once a week, and it's good for metabolizing a lot of the garbage that's gunked up inside your cells and just flushing out the system. It increases your natural GH, your testosterone levels, and even though I love to eat, it's been shown that fasting actually has a positive effect on overall body composition, which means that more muscle, less fat, which is kind of counterintuitive to what we might think. And excessive fasting, I'm not a fan of. There's guys who out there who fast for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and I personally don't believe that that's healthy or safe or anything even close to medically acceptable. You can do some pretty bad liver and kidney damage. Anyway, so I did that. I went down. I've been doing my fasted workouts. Worked out fasted yesterday. Worked out fasted today. And I'm almost back to where I was before I left, maybe a little bit leaner. So things are good. Looking forward to getting back into jiu-jitsu. I'm going to kick my cardio up and just start doing a ton more cardio and try to get myself in the best cardiovascular shape for the tournament that's coming up here. Another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about today, this stuff. Now, I haven't had any of this yet. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to get my carbs going again tomorrow. If you get a chance, guys, we're moving into the end of the challenge. I'm going to create a bridge program, and as I said, just do kind of like a pay what you can for anybody who's interested for the 2 weeks in between the challenges. It's going to be a little bit of a deload, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to get you guys lifting a little bit heavier, but a little bit less frequent with a little bit less cardio. And while I suggest that you generally stick to your diet, I also suggest you take a couple of days and just relax and just enjoy and have some food and reward yourself for all the hard work that you put in. And that doesn't mean eating 20 pizzas, because you're going to digress and it's going to be hell. But then you can use techniques like the fasting and cutting carbs. And not all carbs, fibrous carbs. You need to have fibrous carbs because you need fiber in order to be able to digest things. But, just stuff like rice and that kind of thing. If you can cut out of your diet for a couple of days, deplete your glycogen, and you'll be surprised at how well your body will react to that and how quickly you'll recover. As well, of course, faster workouts, stepping up the cardio a little bit. But I think it's really important for you guys and everybody's pushed really hard to just take a little bit of time after it's all said and done. Anyway, nutritional yeast, guys, I know it sounds crazy. This stuff is absolutely phenomenal. It's got a ton of health benefits. And this makes salads taste amazing. Vegans, vegetarians use it largely. It's high in B12, of course, says that right on the top of the package. But it's kind of like cheese. I know it sounds weird. Like if you look at these flakes, they're almost like flakes. And it's got a really, really good texture. Using this on salads is phenomenal. The macros on this are also absolutely amazing. It's really, really high in niacin, which is vitamin B3, B6, B2, B1, and B12. And for a quarter of a teaspoon, which is practically nothing, a quarter of a teaspoon of this stuff, it's got 0.5 grams of fat, which is negligible. It's got 5 grams of carbs. However, 3 of those are fiber, so they don't count towards the net fiber count, which is really, really good because that means it's also low in carbs, and it has a insane 8 grams of protein for 1/4 of a teaspoon, which is nothing. 8 grams of protein in this stuff, and it's a really, really good. It provides really, really good texture on salads, on vegetables, stuff like that as well. If anybody's doing next Savage and Six and you want some nutritional yeast in your diet, just put a little note in the diet questionnaire when I send that out and say I'd like to try it. But go out and grab a bag. It's absolutely phenomenal. It'll change the way that you eat salads. It'll change the way you eat a lot of things. Extremely, extremely healthy. Very high in B vitamins and tastes amazing. You know, it really, really does. So go out and get yourself some nutritional yeast. You will thank me. I promise you. And eat salad and be happy. So other than that, not a heck of a lot going on. As I said, I'm pretty busy moving and doing a bunch of things. But I want to thank everybody for joining me again for this challenge and choosing to put your health in my hands, and not necessarily in my hands, because as I always say to you guys, I don't do the work. I just facilitate it. I put together a plan. We make adjustments. We work together. But it's you guys who do the work, and I just want to thank you guys sincerely for choosing me to be along in that journey with you. You know, I've gotten some really nice emails over the last few days and few weeks from people just reaching out and saying, "Hey, thank you very much. You know, I really appreciate what you do." And to be honest with you, you know, it's really, really rewarding. It's what I love to do. I think in the future I'm going to be continuing to do the challenges, but I'm going to transition into some other things. I have some other ideas going on for businesses, but I think that I will always do these challenges, and I will always do them because I legitimately love to do them with you guys. Even though it eats up a lot of time, but there's nothing more rewarding, and I think we built a pretty good brotherhood here. So awesome job. If anybody didn't check in as well, if I got any guys who are doing the light, if you want to shoot me a message, if you got any questions, if there's ever anything I can do for you, I'm just really a message away. So feel free to do that, and I will gladly answer. Other than that, guys, you know, we got a few days left. A few days. You know, you've come so far, you've gone so hard, so I'm sure by now you're probably getting tired, but just see the end line in sight, and I really do, guys. Anti-hero fitness isn't just about getting into shape and staying in shape. It's about just breaking down barriers, you know, and it's about going out and putting yourself outside of your comfort zone and working hard. But I, I encourage you guys to take a break, because it's also about balance. You know what I mean? At the end of this, take a break. Honestly, take a couple of days off the gym. It's not going to kill you. Go eat some food, spend some time with your families, and take those extra couple hours a day that you've been spending at the gym and do something productive with it. I also want to reiterate too, you know, make sure that you're taking time to focus on all the other areas of your life, right? Self growth is self growth, but it's just self growth physically is just like one of the small aspects in your life. So um, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, you can grow your biceps and you can grow your back, but make sure you're growing your brain. You know what I mean? Make sure that you know, if you're not a reader, you know, make sure that you're taking the time to consume information. For me, a lot of the time it's podcasts, or books or literature, or um, whatever it might be. Maybe it's an instrument, you know. Just make sure that you feed the rest of your passions. You know, you got all these different pots in life, and it, if you're putting all your stuff into this fitness pot, you know, you got your creative pot, and then you've got your you know, you've got kind of your creative pot over here where you want to create, and then you've got your ambitious pot where you're putting things into work, and you got your family pot over here, and then you've got your whatever you have. You've got all these little containers. Make sure that you put some stuff in all those other containers, and you know, just pick up some new skills, and just continue to seek knowledge and continue to educate yourself. And you know, I just can't stress enough how important um, the growth factor is in other areas of your life. And just don't get tied up by staring at the scale and going to the gym every day and smashing weights. Life is so short. It really, really is short. And that's one of the reasons why I ended up coming out here. Of course, I told you guys a story about my buddy passing away. So, and just realizing that life can be over tomorrow. So just, you know, it's good to stay focused, and it's good to do the fitness thing, but just make sure that you're taking the time to water all those other pots. Because I did the fitness thing when I was younger, and I was so focused on that, and I stopped watering all the other pots around me, and ultimately I stopped growing because of it. So Anyway, a big rant today. I love you guys. You're killing it. And I'm going to post another video tomorrow, and I'll keep you updated with my recovery process from being away. And if any of you guys want to go out and have some fun and enjoy, and you have some questions about what you can do to pull it back together after you go and let loose for a couple of days, maybe have some drinks, enjoy a barbecue, skip the gym. Skip the gym for a couple of days. Take that stuff, go put it a little bit in your creative pot, go put some into your seeking knowledge pot, definitely your family pot, because family is everything. But just spread the love around. Be nice to yourself. You got a few days left, so see the end in sight. Create a reward for yourself and go out there and earn it. I hope you guys have an awesome night. It's an absolute pleasure, and I will talk to you guys very, very soon.